What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I've been able to scale my gyms and remove myself from operations, be able to travel the world and create very successful businesses. This is me at 22 years old, setting up my first gym, no idea what I was doing. And fast forward nearly 6 years later, I am giving talks on big stages, explaining exactly how I've been able to do this and the systems that I've implemented to create amazing communities and successful businesses. In this video, guys, this is not going to be a DM me later or I'm going to share some of the information. I'm sharing you everything in this video to give you as much value as humanly possible, which you can take away and action. So why should you listen to me and who am I? I went from a position of sleeping under the stairs at one of my gyms, stressing about making rent, to actually being able to remove myself completely from my gyms. And this is a graph from 2021, one of my gyms back at this point making only £6,000 in monthly revenue. And within a 2-month period, I was able to more than double my revenue to over £14,000 through implementing the system that I'm about to break down in this video. I have then since gone on to speak on podcasts and give talks all over the world, and founded GymGrow, which is my company specifically for gyms and studios. Just in the UK market alone, we've helped over 75 gyms across the UK. And in just the last 12 months, we've generated nearly £1.6 million in revenue. And across those gyms, we've had 0 refunds. Why is this important? It's because I feel the gym owners that we work with are at such a starting point that we could expand massively and improve their businesses through implementing this system. So very excited to share with you guys today, and I'm going to be going to give it all away in complete depth. Why do most gyms plateau and what is really going wrong with a lot of gyms? They've not got a predictable member sign up. They've not really got any sales process, and you've not usually got a very good retention system. If one of these things is missing, I'm going to break it down in this video today to give you as much value as possible. Here's a picture of me from the first year of opening, covered in eczema because I was so stressed out from not getting this right. Hopefully you're not in that position, but if you are, this video is going to be massively useful. And the exact system that we install with all the gyms that we work with at GymGrow is going to be broken down today. So it is a 5-part system. And what does this look like? First, it is getting your pricing and offer correct, because if we don't get this right, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to sign up new members. And a quick example for you here is Ellis, who went from literally signing up 0 members to now having consistent monthly growth month on month. I'm going to be breaking down the exact meta ad strategy and how you're going to generate leads and sign up members. An example of this is Hannah from Summer, who only spent £76 on ads to generate £2,200 in revenue. So the ad strategy that we've got here works really well. We've got an exact sales consultation and framework that I want you to use, which took Jamie from £17,000 to over £26,000 a month in recurring revenue through implementing this. The fourth is going to be delivering the actual intro program. What does this look like? How do we do this? And this is Amy from CrossFit Kerno, who went from £8,000 a month in recurring revenue to over £12,000 in just a 4-month period. And then finally, retention and how we can actually judge the health of our customers and prevent them from leaving. And an example here is Frenchie in Bury, who went from a facility 5 times the size in just 6 months. He opened up a new facility for implementing this. So I'm excited to share with you guys today. I'm giving you everything in this video and I'm here to help. There is a link below this video where you can book a call with me. This is not a sales call. This is for me to actually give you help on your business and do a quick audit. You'll see in my same sales framework, which I break down, I'm not a fan of hard closing. I'm not a fan of trying to sell someone something that they don't want. So if you genuinely want some advice and help with your business, click the link below to book that. So let's get straight into it, guys. Pricing and offer structure. What does this look like? How do we do this? I just want to highlight Rebecca from For Me Wellness, who added £3,000 in the first 3 weeks from using this pricing structure. Of course, paired with the Meta Ads system that I'm going to run through as well. So what I'm a massive fan of is having one unlimited membership. So by having a massive menu of options, you're going to really people are going to have too many options. It's not going to be obvious what they should choose. So to begin with, especially if you've got a lot of memberships, we want to streamline them to just having a couple of memberships. And what I highly recommend is that you actually have a 6 or 12 month contract in place, which means that if I commit to the gym for 12 months, I'm going to get a lower monthly rate and a monthly rolling cancel anytime, something that's more convenient. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to be able to offer a 12-month contract if you don't already offer one, because people aren't going to opt into that. And we're going to get into the exact offer and intro program that we're going to be able to use to sell this onto people. But right now, I need you to have a more simplified version of your memberships, because too many memberships kills the sales. And we want to end up having an amazing group of people like we have over here. So To begin with, a lot of gyms and studios I work with have all of their pricing on the website. The problem with this is when you have the pricing, people focus around the price. We should be charging what we're worth, and we should not be the cheapest gym in the area. We don't want to compete on price. We want to be premium. And to do this, we shouldn't focus our efforts on showing our prices. Of course, we can be transparent when the person comes in, but that initial point of interaction, we want to collect their details so we have the option to get them signed up later down the line. Now, talking to the point earlier in terms of how on earth can I sell a 12-month membership to someone straight off the bat? It's very hard, right? And that's where this 28-day intro offer comes through. So what I highly recommend you do, and what we've implemented across all the clients we worked with, including my own gyms, is having a beginner program or an intro program to give people a taster of what you're about. I really like 28 days because it's long enough to give them a great experience and want them to continue and give the prospect a feeling of wanting to continue with you. And it also means we can mimic the cost of our monthly membership, and we should charge a minimum of our monthly membership for the intro program. And when we do this right, our intro program will actually fund our ad spend, because if we spend £100 on ads and we generate £250 in intro programs, we're now funding the ad spend and we're able to grow at a faster rate. So why 28 days? Why not 7 days? Why not 8 weeks? The reason for 28 days is, one, it's a fixed end date, meaning that there's a start and an end position, which is amazing because people aren't having to opt into an endless recurring membership. The other great thing about 28 days is it's long enough to really provide a great product and get that person embedded into your community, but it's also not too long so that the conversion cycle isn't too long. Because if we have it 8 weeks, that means we've got 8 weeks before they convert into a monthly recurring member. And ultimately, the whole gym studio membership business is about building our monthly recurring revenue so that we can hire more staff and build a more profitable and also a better member experience for our members. The other great thing about 28 days is it gives us enough time so that they can actually build habits and relationships within those 28 days. And what I highly recommend you do is have 8 sessions across the 28 days. So 2 sessions a week. And the fixed start and end date is a must. So yeah, what does it look like? 2 sessions a week, 8 sessions total. I also recommend massively that you have it cohort based. This means that everyone starts at day 1 at the same time, and you run this between 8 to 15 per cohort. The reason for this is because we can really create a little micro community for the members that start. And if demand is higher, of course, we can run multiple cohorts, but ultimately it's our job to fill the cohort. And I'm going to get into that in the next section with the meta ad strategy. So another massive part to making it more enticing to people starting the 28-day intro offer, and also to get more people onto this, is using an offer where you enable them to win their money back. We implemented this with Jamie at Cattle Dog, and he went from £17,000 in monthly recurring revenue to over £26,000 in monthly recurring revenue in just a 5-month period. And how this works is whatever they pay for their intro program, you're able to credit that back towards a future membership working together as long as they come to all 8 sessions. This means that you're going to incentivize that they actually come to all of the sessions, which is great because you've got more opportunity and chance to convert them into a long-standing member and give them the best experience possible. It's zero risk for them because if they complete all the sessions, they're actually getting that money back, and it's funding lead gen by having this amazing offer because your marketing costs are going to come down and you're going to get more people onto the program and you're going to more easily convert them. So yeah, just to recap the 28-day intro offer, we want to advertise it as a low barrier option to entering your gym or studio. We want to require a fee, a minimum of your monthly membership, because we really want to qualify that we're getting the right people in front of us. If we're charging £150 a month for membership, we don't want to offer our intro program at £30, which a lot of gyms and studios do, because then that conversion from the front end to the recurring membership is so much lower. So it really filters for serious people and funds your ad spend. The structure is 2 sessions a week, 8 sessions total, and we want to run it in cohorts. We want to create those micro communities because that is what gets people sticking around and wanting to continue. And of course, the offer, which I love, is allow them to win their money back. And again, when I implemented this at my gyms, this is one of my gyms back in 2021, I went from a 6K revenue to over 14K in a 2-month period. And I've now replicated this with facilities all over the UK. So just to add as well, finally, is if you don't have a VIP upsell layer in here, you are missing out. Always have a VIP option. I'm not saying you have to sell this to everyone, but when you do have this in, it is a way that when you create trust and you provide an exceptional service for someone and they want more, you have that option there to sell them into a higher plan, a one-to-one package, some higher level of nutrition support or accountability, whatever it may be. Charge for it. This is what enabled me to actually open my second gym, by offering a higher ticket price. Don't sleep on this, because it's a really great way to add some extra cash. So yeah, just to finish off the pricing and offer architecture, Jamie, again, a great example of this. He was running a whole load of different membership options. We streamlined it into 2 very distinct options, which was just an unlimited membership with a monthly rolling or a 12-month commitment. We used the intro program to get people in. And of course, he's then built on top of that higher ticketed options to upsell people onto his SGPT and his different programs, which is more bespoke. And he's gone from 17.5K to nearly £27,000 a month in a very, very short period of time. So to conclude, pricing, we want to have one membership or limited memberships. Don't give as many as possible. Use either a 6 or a 12-month contract. Have a monthly rolling for convenience to cancel any time. Remove all your pricing for the website. Build a 28-day intro program. Make sure it's focused towards people who want to start. So beginners is a great way to start, and make it cohort based. So on to part 2, meta ads and the lead engine. How do we generate more leads? And not only more leads, how do we generate more signups? Well, to give you an example here, Hannah from Summit in Ulverston in northwest of the UK, you only spent £76 on ads and generated over £2,200 in revenue generated in the first month with us. So the Andromeda approach. The Andromeda approach is a new update that came out at the end of last year through Meta, which changed the way that we run ads. And now Meta algorithm rewards creative volume and diversity rather than one perfect ad. We can no longer just use one perfect ad. We have to use a multiple variation of creatives. So in each ad campaign, we want to see 10 to over 50. Yes, you heard that right. Over 50 creatives. Don't worry, guys. You can do this very easily using still image ads and just changing little things to make more variations of your ads. And we want to be using a good variation. So testimonial videos, UGC, UGC is just like face to camera, just very raw, authentic. B-roll of your gym, voiceover style, just lots of different variations of the way you film it, different people, different scripts, just everything varied is better. We want to be able to separate the male and female versions, because when we speak to one person, it means that we're more likely for that person to feel seen and for them to opt into the ad because we're speaking directly to that person. You want to start at a low budget. I know some of you are going to say 30 to 50 pounds a day. That sounds like a huge amount. You could start lower than this, but when you do this correctly, you're going to see that you probably want to actually scale your ad spend because you start making multiples of what you're spending. And we have a full breakdown of I've got hundreds of examples here, which you can see from my screenshot of clients' ads that are absolutely killing that can help you. So if you are interested with that, give us a shout, messages on Instagram, and I can always help with that. So what makes a good gym ad? What do we need to do? Here's Ryan from E1, stood outside of his gym, just going straight to camera talking about the person that is going to be a good fit for his program. What we want to lead with is a hook, of course. We want to lead with the transformation. So we're not selling our gym equipment. We're not selling even the classes. We're selling the transformation that person gets. We need to have a call to action in the ad. So apply now, click the link. Like we need to say that in the ad because again, it drives conversions. We really recommend that you don't go for these super polished video ads where you get media companies to come in and do it. People want to see raw, authentic media. That's the way that social media is going right now. And so to just use your phone is the best bet. Of course, like organic social media, we want to have a hook. We want to grab people's attention and we want to talk directly to our avatar. So rather than just saying, hey, are you someone who wants to get into fitness? We want to talk directly to mums aged 35 to 40 because that will really resonate with that type of person. So always have your avatar in mind. Don't lead with equipment or facilities. Don't use just join now. We want to get them to apply and put them through an application form. We don't want to use overproduced agency style videos and no slow intros. So what does this actually look like once we create the ad? Once you click into the ad, we want to get the person to fill out an application. This means that we can actually qualify them to see if they'd be a good fit. And it means that we're not going to waste our time with people that, to be honest, can't even be bothered to fill out an application or have put in the application that they're not looking to actually put in the work or be financially qualified. We want to use automation as much as possible. So we can automate the follow-up through WhatsApp, SMS, the booking link, the tech setup side of things, we can help with at GymGrow. But if you just Google or you spend some time YouTubing, you could probably set this up yourself. In terms of the consultation, I'm a massive advocate of having a consultation down in person at your gym. This way you're able to actually meet people, you're actually able to communicate with them at a human level and understand where they're at. Much like a lot of people come to your gyms anyway to have that human interaction, why would we not do that in our sales process? And of course, as a target for you to base your cost per lead around, if we can get qualified leads at under £15 a lead, we're doing well because this is someone who's completed an application. Of course, we've got people that do less than this. And of course, it can still work with people with lead costs higher than this. But as a good average, that's what we're looking for. So in terms of how much you're going to be spending, we would always have to have our our intro program paying for our ads. On average, across 75 gyms and studios, we have a 2.5 return on ad spend. What does that mean? It means when I spend £500 on ads, we generate £1,250 back in membership intros. In other words, for every £100 spent, we're generating £250 back in intros. The reason for this being so great is you're also making profit on the front end, but not only this, you're actually funding your growth by enabling us to be able to generate more cash to put more money into ads. So really we want to have this system dialed in so that we're able to fund our growth and push further. Just a note, guys, this is average. We've had some people do way more than this and hit crazy returns, but as a very minimum, we'd like to be around the 2.5. So the creative production system as a whole is filming your ads in one go. So rather than trying to create 20 ads in across a week, if you just film this in one session, get it out of the way, block 2-3 hours in your calendar and get it all done in one go, it's very much manageable and it's easy to do. Use basic editing software like CapCut or Edits. We don't need to use crazy production teams for this because, again, people want raw and authenticity. We want to rotate new creatives every 4 to 6 weeks. Obviously, the actual data on this will show how quickly we need to rotate these. And we want a cost per lead that is not above, let's say, £15 to £18, because otherwise the ads could be put in place in a better way to get a cheaper marketing spend and a better return on your investment. So the Meta ads and lead engine that we talked through today, to give you just a couple of examples here, Hannah, like I mentioned earlier, only spent £76 on ads in her first month with us, and she generated over 2.2k in upfront revenue. She did a 29x return on ad spend. Rebecca, who's only just started with us, in the first 3 weeks, she only spent £589 on ads. She fully filled out her intro program and generated over £3,000 in direct revenue and did a 5x return on ad spend. So when you get this right, it's incredibly profitable. So just to conclude and finalize what we spoke about here, the Andromeda approach is having multiple variations and different ad creatives. We want to have lots of volume. We want to separate our genders and speak directly to a specific avatar, phone shot videos of a polished production, start at a budget which is manageable and that you're going to be able to see the return and scale from there. So £30 to £50 a day if you know what you're doing, maybe start less if you're guessing, and then a cost per lead target of under £15. And the funnel is ad to application to automated messages and outreach to a sales consultation down at the gym. Now, the sales consultation, what does this look like? This is me in London giving a mastermind to all of the owners in GymGrow, which was really great to go through this exact framework and how this works. But this is something that we spend a lot of time with the clients that we have because it's incredibly important you get this right. Now, some people hear sales and they think, oh my God, I'm going to have to be a window salesman, a double glazing window salesman, or whatever the phrase is. What we need to make clear here is that you are coming from the trusted advisor frame. This means that we don't want to be a slimy salesperson. Look, if you practice what you preach, if you're a gym owner or a studio owner who does what you sell, you should feel confident in the delivery of your service, and you're not trying to sell someone or convince someone to take action. You're just there to help. And ultimately, if we can do this to the best of our ability, people will be more likely to join anyway. So a pushy sales rep will pitch before understanding. They're going to be trying to sell and creating pressure to close. I absolutely hate that, and I really don't recommend that. The trusted advisor frame is just, how can we help this person best? How can we understand their situation? How can we recommend what's genuinely right? And it leaves people feeling like they've been helped. And that's something that if you decide to take a call with me, you'll also see from my team and myself. It really is about practicing what you preach. And if you're good at what you do, you shouldn't have to push it upon people. Now, with the actual sales consultation, what does this look like? The doctor's appointment framework is the perfect framework for this. So you're first going to assess where they're at, understand where they're at, and get a good understanding of, can we help them first off? Then diagnose them, because if they've got a problem, they may not be aware of what that problem is, and they also want to feel heard to know that you do genuinely understand where they're at. And then you're going to prescribe the correct solution for them and say, okay, well, if you want to fix this, these are the steps that you can take to do this, and do what you please with this information. And it's all around asking questions and helping. It's as easy as that. So the consultation, it shouldn't take longer than 20 minutes. And a framework that you can use is, of course, build rapport and greet the person and build context around where they're at. Assess where they're currently at in their fitness journey. Diagnose their problems and diagnose the exact issue that you could fix, and prescribe exactly how you could fix their actual situation that they're in. And I would present the solution with a 28-day intro program in most cases, but if not, you could also be prescribing your one-to-one solutions, etc. And then, of course, you're going to book them in and close them and get them signed up to your program. So in the assessment stage, what are we actually asking? We want to be asking a lot of questions and not doing very much talking. This means asking questions like, where are you currently doing your fitness? What have you done before? What worked? What didn't? What's your ideal week training? What does your ideal week of training look like? What would it mean for you if you actually got consistent, and how quickly do you want to see results? The goal here isn't to sell, is to understand them well enough to recommend the right thing. And if you do this part well enough, it should be an obvious next step to start. And if it's not, you're not even going to try to sell them anything. So diagnose and prescribe. What is this? So this is then, after understanding where they're at, explaining back to them, it sounds like this is the issue. It sounds like you've been struggling with this and you want to achieve this. Well, here's how we can help, and presenting the solution according to their situation. Now, for the follow-up rules, and this sort of is a merge between once someone clicks the ad and in between the ad to the sales consult, because not everyone is going to book in. If you can call that lead within 5 minutes, the likelihood of a response, and this is a really famous study done by Harvard Business, and you are 100 times more likely to get a response when you reply within 5 minutes versus 30 minutes. So that lead response time is huge. We can, of course, automate this, but ultimately, the more you put into your lead follow-up, the more appointments you book and the more sales that you make. But a really easy cadence for you to follow is day 0 through to day 10. You're following up with that lead until you're saying, okay, they've not responded now. Let's archive it. So the sales consultation, just to conclude, is assess, diagnose, and prescribe. And remember, you are a trusted advisor, not a slimy salesman. So just come across in that way that you wanted to help, and genuinely try to help people. So the 5-part system, we've covered pricing and offer architecture. We've covered the meta ads and lead engine. We've covered the sales consultation. Now we're going to be getting into the delivering the program and the retention and customer health index. Before I go into this, guys, if you do want this system specifically laid out for your gym, click the link in the description to have a chat with me. Again, as you've just seen through the sales process that I preach, this is not a high pressure sales consult. This is a, how can we genuinely help you? And this is something that you could use to help. And if not, we'll point you in the right direction to, get your gym going in the right way. So, also our guarantee that we offer as well, because we, are very proud of the results that we get. And also we back our services, which I recommend you do in your gym as well. If you know you've got something that works, why not remove all the risk on the customer side? So our guarantee is, if we don't generate you £5,000 in revenue directly from our services within the first 60 days, we actually refund you in full, or of course you can continue to work with us for free. Across the 75 gyms and studios we've worked in the UK, we've had 0 refunds ever issued, because we're very, very good at what we do. And on average, by day 60, we've generated nearly £26,000 in revenue. And across all the facilities that we've worked with, nearly £1.6 million in the last 12 months alone. Anyway, back to the valuable information for you guys. So delivering the intro program, what does this actually look like, and how do we deliver an amazing intro program for our members? Because most gyms sell an intro offer and then just throw people into classes. We want to really have this thought out and specific. So the intro isn't a trial. I mean, it is a trial, right? But I don't want you to think of it as a trial. I want you to think of it as, we've just got this member now. They're part of our community. Let's embed them, because the better that you integrate them into your community, the more likely they are to convert. And when you get this right, you're going to take your conversion from 30 to 40% to over 70%, which is actually what most of our gyms in Gym Grow are able to achieve. And when you get this wrong, you've actually spent money on your ads, you've spent money to acquire them, and then you're not going to have that person convert into a monthly recurring member. So all those hard yards are wasted. And this is really the bridge between an interested stranger into a committed member. So I'm a massive advocate, like I said earlier, of cohorts. The reason for this is because, wow, does it create community? Rather than just having a start whenever, come whenever, jump in any classes, if you have a fixed start date and end date and a fixed group with a fixed schedule, you get these people to create friendships. You get these people to create connections. And this is what keeps people bought into your community. Because when we think about other gyms, a lot of other gyms are offering similar things to what we do, but what they can't compete on is the relationships that they build inside of your program. By having a shared start line, everyone builds experience and confidence at the same rate. And it really does help with onboarding from a logistics standpoint, but also from an experience standpoint, because everyone's experiencing it together. It makes accountability a hell of a lot easier, because everyone's starting week 1 at week 1 and week 3 at week 3. So we can then tailor our approach to the people that have started accordingly. And it's not a mismatch of, we've got person 1 on week 1 and then person 8 on week 3, and it just becomes a whole logistical mess. Micro communities is massive, and it just becomes a lot more predictable, because every single month we can fill up our cohort, as opposed to trying to always take in as many members as possible. Because in some areas, in some examples of gyms that I've worked with, we've actually told them, hey, we need to hold back on the acquisition right now, because we really want to embed those people. Because when we do the ad, when we run the ad strategy as well as we have done in the past, acquisition no longer becomes an issue, and it actually becomes, we really need to convert these guys to long-standing members. So the cohort structure, 2 sessions a week, 8 sessions total, 8 to 12 or even up to 15 per cohort, but fixed days and times. By having a fixed date and time, it means that you're way more likely to get the same people in the same sessions. And you can also make these more tailored towards beginners, because oftentimes when you survey new members, the biggest hesitation to joining a gym or studio is that they were intimidated to start in the first place. Of course, if demand is higher, run multiple cohorts. And if people don't fit into the set sessions, cool, let them into your existing timetable. But just note that you're going to be able to hold them accountable to come into those times and days across the first 4 weeks, which is the most important part, because if you get someone to come to all 8 sessions, they've built the habit and they want to stick around. So inside the 28 days, what does it look like? Always have an induction or some form of, these are our values, this is what we stand for, this is what it looks like, this is the program. We want to have really basic progressive programming, something that's inclusive to everyone, that fits everyone in the program, not just random workouts put together. We want to have some thought put into this, because it's their first experience with your business or gym, and it's massively important they have a good experience. The conversion conversation should be around week 3. You're going to prompt it earlier. You're going to definitely let them know at day 1 what the conversion options are, but by week 3, i.e. session 7, we're really trying to get them converted into a 6 or 12 month membership, which, by the way, most of our gyms that we work with have their members on 12-month commitments, because they do this 28 days so well. And then by the end of the 28 days in session 8, we're graduating them. We've also found that giving certificates and congratulating them on achieving the first 28 days works really well, and it introduces them into the wider community. So the conversion mechanics. So we want to book the check-in at the point of sale. When we actually sign them up before the start date of the intro program, we want to actually book that check-in there and then, so we know we're going to be meeting them at week 3 to sell them into a continued option. And at worst, we're getting feedback for the program so that we can continue to improve this 28 days. The transition should feel earned. It should feel very normal that by the end of the 28 days, of course, we want to continue. You've had such great results. You've had such a great time. I've worked with you across XY time frame, and we've got these results. Let's continue. The built-in win your money back works super well here, because the fee is then credited towards a future membership. So that means that if they stay on, that money is then credited back across the next 6 to 12 months, and it makes it an added incentive to stick around. And it keeps the cohort members together, because if I've had a great time with the group that I've started with, of course, I'm going to continue to want to work with these people moving forward. And just what I put here at the bottom is really great, is you're not joining a gym, you're joining a community, because when you can really nail this down, when you become a club, when you build that brand, people join, and they join for life because of how well that you've integrated them. So delivering the intro program, think about what's actually happening here. You've got a complete stranger going into a small group of people that they create relationships with. We want to have structured coaching. We want to build friendships and build connections, and then we're going to transition them into the wider community. And that's why cohort conversions work incredibly well, as opposed to just letting people start at any time. So just to give you an example here, Dave from Boundary in Belfast implemented this exact structure and has gone from £20,000 in recurring revenue to now over £25,000 in recurring monthly revenue in a very short period of time again, guys. So I've got a whole host of testimonials on my YouTube. Go check them out. Go check how this works. So finally, part 5, we've done a really great job of getting people signed up to our gym. They're embedded and coming to sessions. Well, now we want to retain them for life. And how do we know if people are going to be dropping off? That's where we can use the customer health index. So just to give you the economics of retention, everyone's so obsessed with getting more people through the door. If we are losing members where we shouldn't be, it is way more expensive to acquire new members than keep existing ones. So we really want to make sure that this is nailed down from day 1. But definitely when you start acquiring members and acquiring a lot of them, we really want to make sure that we're keeping them, because this is where you can really grow the revenue of your business. If we took our monthly churn from 10% to 5% with the same acquisition, we're effectively doubling our growth rate. So it's really important that we think about this and have this nailed down. The customer health index, which we are huge at GymGrow. We're even building a software completely built around this. One of the best things that you can use to identify whether someone's going to drop off is just their attendance frequency. How often are they showing up? Because if someone's not been in 2 weeks and they are consistently missing large chunks of time to come to the gym, well, guess what? They're way more likely to churn. So if we can track and monitor that, it means that we can reach out and we can get them back involved and even put them back into an intro program if they've been out of the game that long. Engagement, how often are they at least booking classes or interacting in the community? Because you should be running lots of community events. And member milestones can be a really great way as well, because a great way to track engagement, because when someone joins, we want to set week 4, month 3 and month 6 in-person check-ins to make sure that they're getting on okay and that you're servicing them to the best of their ability. What we like to use, what I would actually recommend, is at the point of sale that you actually book a 20-day, which is week 3 in the intro program, your 60-day and 90-day check-ins, because this is going to be a great way to further embed them into your community, and it's also a great way to upsell them into your higher ticket programs. So catch friction early, reinforce the value by day 60, and then potentially upselling them at day 90 or earlier. But book these at the point of sale, guys. So preventing early churn, how do we do this? Of course, it comes from the onboarding. It comes from that first 28 days. We want to have a personal welcome. This means not an automated message, but some form of welcome from a coach, or do this in a group environment on a group induction works really well. The 28-day intro program, which we talked about, is massive. Assigning them a coach can really be useful here, or even a buddy, so another member who's in a similar situation to them. And we want to outlay and put in front of them all the check-in dates and book them in to start with, so that you've got those touch points with them. And if not, at least doing it over WhatsApp. So one of the biggest things that you can implement from a community aspect is having monthly social events. So not quarterly, monthly, and you could even do more than this. Using WhatsApp groups and community group chats to get everyone involved. Bring a friend, barbecues, and different ways to involve the community and family side of things. One thing that's actually huge, which we've implemented at Hotbox, is having a member advisory committee. This is something where you give some key members who you think are great, upstanding pillars of your community power to make decisions over the community aspects of your business. It works incredibly well, and it also gives you eyes and ears everywhere for what people are saying and thinking at your gym. It becomes more of a social club with barbells, like what we like to call it. If you don't already, I would highly recommend you have exit interviews. Every single member that leaves, including the ones on the 28-day intro program, interview them, find out why they're leaving, find out what didn't go well, what could they have done better, what went wrong, or why they're not continuing, because this is amazing feedback which we can use then to improve our service offering. And then just a quick example for you here as well with retention. So Bill from Stormbreaker, there's a video on my Instagram of him talking about this, but Bill's dream was to quit his job. He since did that within 9 months of working at GymGrow, quit his full-time job to go into full-time his business, because he was always doing it part-time. He acquired so many clients that he's actually had to turn off the marketing and just focus on retention, because they've maxed out the capacity of their gym, and it's become much more of a, how do we retain our members to the best of our ability, because we don't need to focus so much on acquiring. And that's a great position to be in, and that's where we can look at opening a second location and having much deeper tiered structures to upsell people and increase our average revenue per member. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, but if you are interested in working with GymGrow, what we actually offer is complete done-for-you ads and lead generation. We're getting you live in 7 days. Our team works incredibly fast, and we're generating revenue by day 8. We've got a proven sales and sign-up system, which you can hopefully see from this video. We have a full money-back guarantee. I have massive like if you're not getting results from this, I don't want your money. We've got such an amazing product, and we back it with this. You've got direct access to my team. That's Monday to Friday, one-to-one support, 9 to 5. And everything's built on your systems. If you decide to leave us, you've got all of these systems for you. Again, we do this to help you to the best of our ability. This isn't us trying to hide things from you. I want to help you as much as possible. And again, just to highlight one more time, we guarantee you 5K in revenue direct from our services within the first 60 days. You've got a full money back guarantee. On average, by day 60, we've added nearly £26,000 from all the gyms and studios that we worked with. We've not even had any refunds ever issued, and we've generated nearly £1.6 million in revenue. So if this is something that interests you, book a call. And again, if it's not, if you don't want to actually work with us, but you're interested in what I've talked about today, and you want some more information, we're also happy to do that. Some client results that we've had, just to show you: Jamie at Cattle Dog went from 17.5K to over 26.5K a month. Amy, 8K to 12.5K a month. Paul from CrossFit Wakefield, in his first 90 days, added 50 members. Now he's at an all-time member high. Christian added 80K in annual revenue. Ty went from only 1 to 2 signups to now consistently 15 signups a month. Kristen doubled her revenue and quit her job to go full-time at Pilates Studio. Jonathan went from the point of closing to opening a facility 5 times the size. Fraser added £128,000 in annual revenue in his first 4 months with us. Dave went from 20K to 25K a month using this exact system. Mark went from 110 to over 200 members and added 10K a month within a 6-month period. Tania went from 42 to over 100 students. Hannah spent £76 on ads and generated 2.2K in revenue. Mike only spent £389 on ads in his first month with us and signed up 34 people, generating over £3,500 in revenue. Glenn and Vicky from Leighton Buzzard added 45 members from just 1K in ad spend using this system. So if you are interested in working with us and you want to learn more, click the link in the description to book a call with myself or one of my team. This is not a high pressure pitch. As you understand from the framework we teach, we practice what we preach. It's an honest conversation about where you're at right now and to see if you'd like to work with us. Awesome to deliver this video, guys. Hope you took a lot away from it, and excited to potentially see you on the call.